Welcome to The Explainer. If you've been checking the news lately, you already know things are moving at breakneck speed right now. We are currently watching three massive tectonic shifts happening simultaneously across the Middle East. I'm talking shattered ceasefires, deepening humanitarian emergencies, and the end of historical eras, all converging at exactly the same time. Let's dive into it.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the US-Iran Gulf escalation, then look at the standoff in the Strait of Hormuz. After that, we'll cover Gaza's deepening humanitarian crisis, the news of Hamas dissolving its civilian government, and finally, the legacy of Qatar's Father Emir.
Section 1. US-Iran Gulf escalation. The ceasefire in the Persian Gulf? Yeah, it's officially shattered. We're seeing an incredibly fast-paced military escalation that has put the entire region on high alert. To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of this, just look at this number, 140. According to U.S. Central Command, that is the number of Iranian military locations hit by U.S. strikes in a single night, spread across 5 different provinces. This was the largest wave of U.S. attacks we saw on Sunday after midnight, definitively signaling that the recent diplomatic calm is completely over. It's just a staggering figure that shows how fast we went from diplomatic tension to direct kinetic action. And the ripple effect. It was immediate. In retaliation, Iran launched its own massive wave of attacks. Sirens and air defense interceptions were going off everywhere. Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, Kuwait, Oman, and Jordan. Iran was directly aiming at U.S. military assets deployed in the region. Over in Kuwait, Iranian drones actually struck 3 border posts and an oil platform. And get this, for the very first time, Iran confirmed attacking a U.S. military asset in Oman. Now, Oman is a country that usually plays the mediator between Washington and Tehran, so this is a big deal. Sources are pointing out that this is a highly calculated move by Iran. They're targeting American bases to send a very clear message to neighboring countries about the potential cost of hosting them.
Now, you might be wondering, why did the U.S. focus its strikes specifically on Qeshm Island and Bandar Abbas? Well, they aren't just random spots on a map. Bandar Abbas hosts Iran's largest port. It's literally the country's economic lifeline for imports and exports. And Qeshm Island? That's the largest island in the Persian Gulf. Together, these 2 locations are huge hubs for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps' naval forces, packing critical radar systems and telecommunications towers. Because they oversee the highly strategic Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. targeted them to actively degrade the IRGC's military capacity right in that exact crucial corridor.
Section 2. Strait of Hormuz standoff.
Those military strikes we just talked about are totally tied to this vital geopolitical choke point. So there was a previous memorandum of understanding governing the strait, and that has now completely broken down. Iran is leaning heavily on a very strict interpretation of Article 5 of this memo. They argue this gives them the absolute prerogative to facilitate and organize all maritime traffic passing through. According to Iranian authorities, any ship trying to pass through without their direct coordination and approval, well, they consider that illegal activity and a direct violation of the agreement.
So, we're looking at a massive geopolitical deadlock. On one hand, you have Iran's demand, total coordination for all ships. They are essentially trying to close the strait to unapproved vessels to maintain their strategic leverage. But on the other side, the U.S. and Oman have been pushing hard to establish and heavily protect an alternative southern route for commercial shipping. Iran, of course, views this southern route as a direct attempt to sideline their role and totally strip away their historical leverage in the strait.
And as both sides dig their heels in, hopes for a diplomatic fix are fading fast. The Iranian parliament speaker and chief negotiator put it incredibly starkly, saying, "The era of one-sided deals is over. Keep your words or you're going to pay the price." Meanwhile, the U.S. is issuing its own ultimatums demanding Iran publicly commit to stopping attacks on commercial vessels. With nobody budging, this absolutely critical global shipping lane is just trapped in an explosive standoff.
Section 3. Gaza's deepening humanitarian crisis.
While military tensions are boiling over in the Gulf, there is a deeply grounded, frankly devastating crisis continuing to unfold in Gaza amidst the extreme summer heat. 73,221. That is the reported total number of Palestinians killed in Gaza since the conflict escalated on October 7, 2023. And in just the past week, covered by the source reports, over 1,000 more were killed. It's a single number, but it represents an unfathomable scale of loss and a daily reality defined by relentless airstrikes and mass displacement.
But macro data alone rarely captures the real human reality on the ground. With summer temperatures regularly topping 30 degrees Celsius, hundreds of thousands of displaced people are facing severe water shortages. One displaced man detailed his daily struggle, explaining how he had to dig a well nearly 5 meters deep right near the sea. He said, "By God's grace, it was a miracle the water was fresh and clean." Officials are warning that this brutal combination of extreme heat and the absolute desperation for clean water is creating a massive public health catastrophe.
Section 4. Hamas dissolves civilian governance.
Right in the middle of this humanitarian emergency, the political reality on the ground is entering a phase of total ambiguity. Step 1 of this major shift, Hamas recently announced it's dissolving its civilian governing body. That officially ends nearly 20 years of governance over the territory. Step 2 of their proposal is transferring those administrative responsibilities to a newly formed National Committee for the Administration of Gaza.
But here is the massive unanswered question. Who is actually going to oversee this new national committee? The announcement leaves these critical details totally unresolved. How will it be formed? Who's going to run it? And maybe most importantly, will it even get any broad public or international support? For the Palestinians currently enduring extreme conditions and daily military operations, this political proposal really offers no immediate, practical resolution. It just leaves the future governance of Gaza completely up in the air.
Section 5. Legacy of Qatar's father emir.
Our final transition today takes us to Doha, marking the passing of a profoundly transformative regional leader. The office of the Emir of Qatar announced that the father emir, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, has passed away at the age of 74. Funeral prayers were held in Doha, and he was buried at the Lusail Cemetery. This has prompted widespread regional mourning and, honestly, a deep reflection on his immense impact on shaping the modern Middle East as we know it today.
The evolution of Qatar under his rule was nothing short of massive. Following a military career, he assumed leadership back in 1995, and almost immediately, in 1996, he drove rapid economic growth by kicking off liquefied natural gas exports. That move effectively made Qatar a global energy powerhouse. That exact same year, he launched the Al Jazeera media network, which fundamentally changed regional broadcasting. Fast forward to 2004, Qatar adopted its first permanent constitution and launched its ambitious Vision 2030. Then in 2010, the country expanded its global profile immensely by securing the rights to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Finally, in a really rare and historic move for the region, he voluntarily transferred power to his son, Sheikh Tamim, in 2013. It's a striking chronological journey that really highlights how rapidly a nation's global footprint can be expanded.
All of this leaves us with one overarching thought. These events are absolutely not happening in isolation. We're looking at a rapidly escalating military conflict in the Gulf that's choking global shipping. We're witnessing a devastating humanitarian and political crisis evolving in Gaza, and we're seeing the passing of a generation of historical leadership in Qatar. As these three tectonic shifts collide, what does the future hold for a Middle East in transition? It is a question that will undoubtedly shape global events in the weeks and months to come. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what you see on the horizon.